Chief Executive role at the moment. And Tracy, welcome, Scott and Warren. We have apologies from Larissa and Mike. Could have somebody move that we accept those.
Yeah.
Please.
Aye.
Terry seconded. All those in favour? Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Right, in public forum, we've got Warren Chase here to give us a little bit of an update on Pukaha's plan for our bushwalk to the campground. Is that right?
Something like that, a bit more than that. Do you want me to talk now?
Yes, please, yeah.
No era tega te miki kia kota. Parangi nui ki onga, ka popatonu ki o, whakata si ni tama ki wanga miki ki hei maura. No era tene ki gama. This is a bit of a work in progress. I have been working with, first of all, an apology from Reece Watkins, the interim chair, interim manager for Puka. He was appointed me this morning. Can't be. So, and I've been working for the last. But as a job since 2021, sorry, with a guy called Jim Flack. We run between the two of us, and a woman by the name of Heather Grady. We ran the conservation level 4 course for Pukaha and Yukon, and of course Stop. And out of that, the dream has come of replacing what we knew as the Tāpuni Nui Whātua. We know we can't ever get back to what it was, but this is a part of a step towards that. There's a few steps. And there was a proposal that I overheard. I don't know if it was put, but I overheard it, to actually do that between here and Norseman. I mean, to bring that back of building island. And we live at 9 Church Street, which belongs to the Anglican Church. It's the V Street. And with it, there is a little bit of land that there is some amazing native flora and fauna growing there.
I might sleep at just.
Was it? But in regards to that, there's a heap of pests as well. I don't know if, and so the idea is for to start at the veterinary house in but there and clean it up. Or we've started, we've already done quite a bit, but we need some help. So that's what this is here. And what we did, because Jim Flack sadly, he contracted a serious illness and he had to leave, he had to finish up. And Reece replaced him. So Reece and I built quite a strong relationship. But sadly, the numbers for the conservation course wasn't matching what the providers would like. So it had to finish. Yeah. But anyway, with the level 3 group, the college students, Reece and I asked them to put this together. We presented that this morning. Okay. All right. So that's what we're doing. And the idea is to go down the cliff walk, down to the camping ground, but also to realign ourselves, not realign, but align ourselves with Pahiatua and what's happening up there, and all the way through. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I hope that's fine.
Yeah, you done very well, Warren. Thank you.
I don't know where we're going to go with this, but I think it's
Well, it's just informing us of what's going on, which is really neat, yeah.
And the students are level three are from around the college areas. Yeah, level, years 12 and 13.
Yeah. Good. All right, thanks very much, Marcus. Right, board notifications, items not on the agenda. Do we have anything given?
No, England is nothing to do on the agenda.
I want to just put a comment on there for the picnic table from here. I'll talk about that later. And we have a comment from Larissa as well that I'll just read it later on.
Yeah.
When time comes. All right, do we have any conflicts of interest today? No? All right, that leads us on to run through our last minutes and just confirm they're correct. Make any comments on page 5? Page 6.
Yeah, and page 8, 12.1, Eketahuna Social Services.
Mhm.
The actual service is called Harbour, HAMUA hyphen order, ORA Heartlands. If we could actually just put that in there, it'd be really cool, because, yep.
Someone move that they are true and correct with the addition of the correction to 12.1. Please.
Yep.
Thank you. All in favour, say aye.
Yeah.
Carried. Right. District Council reports. We'll just I'll whiz through them pretty quick as normal to get through them and just stop being need to. So any comments down page 10? 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 17. 18. Moving on to the normal reading. Things have got 19. 20.
I just asked, 12-month performance report, will they all be online? There will be a reach to the aim. I could,
That report is on the agenda for that meeting, so it is online at the moment.
awesome.
Page 22. Ready? When you give someone to move that, those reports are received, please. Evelyn, thank you. Seconder, Terry, I'm
I'll
sure.
be me.
All those in favour, say aye. Carried. Our management report, page 29, run through that. Page 30. I've got some stuff to say there. Okay, so I'll start with 4.2 because those are, and 4.3 next, two things that I have definitely brought up. So I requested more than once over a few years that there is a safety issue on that intersection of Free Street and Marina Road, and mentioned it at a road safety meeting as well. Firstly, I just want to say I'm rather disappointed with that reply or that report, just to say there's no money there and that's that. What I would have been interested in as a reply would have been has some, so what I learned here from the road safety meeting when I brought it up, someone from the Alliance said actually there is a number of different things that they can do to improve safety at intersections, not just, one thing. So I would like to know if they have looked at it, and is there a little report somewhere that someone's done? And if not, can we at least ask for that? Like, we might not have funds to do anything, but could we not at least see what the options are? Then maybe the local knowledge through the community board could say, you know what, we don't really need the 100 grand upgrade of changing the road structure. Maybe we can just have a cheaper option of signage, or I don't know, but I would like, if we could have some options. Surely we can afford to have someone in council actually look at it and say, this would cost this for that idea, this for that idea, and maybe we could have some local input onto what we think would work. And if it's going to cost a lot of money, let's just work on the future and a plan for the future. That's what I would really like to see as an outcome of that question. So, do we have any thoughts, Jerry? You've got something to say?
No, I totally agree with you, really. I mean, just saying that there's no money available, that's just a throwaway comment. Lackadaisical on its own thing, and that's not what we pay people for. You'd expect at least, say, some sort of concerted effort to actually tell us what their plans were, if any. And I totally agree with you.
Because all those ways are all council maintenance, all of it.
Yeah, maintenance wise, but I've personally had some near misses there because people come over the centre line because they carry too much speed from Marina, and I've talked to community members and I've had the same feedback from other people. So let's not wait for a fatal accident. I thought let's do something, but at least look at what costs of different ideas could be is really, really what I would like to see as a number. Surely we can do that. But if everybody's in favour, what do we do, Ellie? Can we send a letter from the board asking for a report on the options of improving the safety? And I noticed it says that there are other areas in the district that have got higher safety level concerns, which is fine, but I just want at least this one. Our job is to look after our services and infrastructure as part of the district. So this is what we're doing. So we need someone to make a resolution or the move that we send a letter to council requesting further reporting on the options to improve safety.
It's the options.
So you'd like to move that in on?
Yep.
Thank you. Seconder. Jerry, thank you. Most votes aye.
Right.
Sorry, Jason.
I was just going to say, with those near misses, I did have a look at your CREs for the misser stuff, but reported no's actually needs to be in place as well. It's like,
That was before I sort of aware of CRMs.
It's always good to know those.
Yeah. All right, thanks for that. So moving on to 4.3. I thought that pointing out that this river erosion might underline the roads in the future would be a good way of attending to this problem that's brought to me by the local person living out there. Tracy had some good advice there that maybe we need to attack this problem. So the problem is that it's wasted Horizon ratepayers' money. Because so what's happened is there is an erosion on the bank of the river. So Manganaka River exits the Tara Valley. The spot there where it's so what happens is it arises 3 times in the memory of the local Barry Bankson that brought to my attention. Has had work done on it, and you know we're talking like $20,000 or $40,000 ago sort of thing. But it's just not done well. So they get a bulldozer in there and they sort of reroute the river and they put sort of boulders up against the bank that's getting eroded. And the first decent flood, I mean the first one, not multiple ones, that just washes it all out. So in his memory, there's been 3 occasions where a vast sum of money has been spent on that same spot. So it's about the job not being done well, which is completely wasted ratepayers' money, really, because the job hasn't been done properly. I think, you know, I'm not a river roading engineer, but concrete slabs up against the bank or something like that might be just something more substantial. Rerouting them with the bulldozer and applying boulders to the area just gets washed out, and the rerouting is gone in the next flood. So my thoughts there again would be, if everybody's interested or agreed, could we write a letter to Horizons and just talk about the fact that 3 occasions of a sizable sum of money has been spent on the same spot to no effect, because it just gets washed out in the next. And I have talked to Horizons about this in the past, but I thought pointing out that the road might cave in must be something of significance, but it's not apparently. So they just say we need to talk to the council. The council said, well, river's not, as you can see in that response, they point to each other and nothing happens. So what are we, any more thoughts on that, guys?
There is quite a simple fix, and we use them from a military point of view. Is you might have seen it in movies and stuff at these forward operating posts where they have these great big wire mesh, and it's heavy steel filled with stones which withstand quite substantial explosive detonations and stuff and protect people. And just X amount of, I don't know how many of those filled, laid along the bank, reinforced behind with further stones, would be possibly quite a cheap long-term way to deal with it, rather than the short-term what they're doing at the moment, until there is more funds to deal with it properly.
Yeah, so, you know, so straight away, Terry's military experience is already offering up a more longer-lasting solution, but I think that the letter might be able to hopefully request Horizons actually dig a bit deeper into expertise and come up with a long-lasting solution, and then there'll be one lot of money spent fast. So, yeah, would someone like to move that we? Yep. Horizons regarding this. Terry, thank you.
Yeah, I'll second.
Seconded, Evelyn. All those in favour say aye. Yep. Carried. Yep. But perhaps in the letter too, it could be mentioned that you know, one of our members is ex-military and already had an idea of.
It's just most government.
It's an operational thing. It's not for us to tell them how to do their job, but we realise there are other levels of expertise in how to do this better. So.
The letter should probably push back on you that it's not their job, it is their job.
Yeah.
The rates paid and that catchment will run over the management.
Yeah. Yeah, it would just nice to see some money spent wisely now. Do a job once, and it's the neighbour that brings it to my attention. It's just livid with the whole idea that just gets washed away. Next, it wastes money.
Possibly even to keep wait, and see what the response is, but actually flag it for the board for licensing when there's one.
All right. See what happens. From that response.
Can I, are we allowed to accept, a comment from the public regarding this?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, no, sorry, but we did try.
We have a public forum for at the start where we
I know,
can, we can have people say stuff. So moving on to page 31. Just from the end of page 30, the report from the transport team about the road then well done. I've had somebody ask me if I would drive out to Borey Road and have a look at that. That's a middle road, and I saw in the somewhere in this management plans that the roads generally get graded twice a year, but the complaint about the Borey Road is that it's not graded properly, so that the water doesn't come off properly. It's the angle's not done correctly, and the water tables are not maintained well. So even though it's only twice a year, if it was done better, then again, because what happens, particularly on Borey Road, is because this is not a new problem. It's been brought to my attention a bunch of times to the point that I even my wife and I even drove out there and got out and took some photos. I think that was when I started learning about CRMs and put one in. So it's because the water table is not done well, the water just runs across the road and then it wrecks it faster than the twice a year grading can fix. But if it was done correctly, does it even on a property nearby, you would have to stop on Borey Road and ask one of the locals there. There is apparently a custom-made blade that can be used that does the water table at the same time as grading the road. So some of the locals, and if you have trouble with it, I can give people names of at least 2 names I can think of straight away that you can talk to about the state of the road and about where this special blade is that's been made. I think it's a simple fix. It just needs to be. It doesn't have the correct angle on it, so it's not about the amount of time to grade it. It's about how it's done properly. So like I say, it's been brought to my attention a bunch of times, and originally done CRMs, and a grader went out the problem from that CRM. But the problem is that it's just not, the angle's not done correctly, and the water table's not done well enough. So that's we just note that, and it's part of the. Maybe someone can listen to that. Don't need any resolution there. All right. To page 32. 33. Nine. For the Eketahuna Main Street upgrade, I just put a big tick. Had lots of issues for a long time. Finally getting some sort of a resolution there. It's correct. The water pipes. Now on 6.2, I know we've been over this on our last meeting, but talking about the wetlands being commissioned, I'm interested to know who the various members of the community and council staff and yeah. Does anyone know? Because
I would leave it as Edwin.
yeah, but apart from Evie, which we knew were invited, are there any members of the community?
You were some from the golf club? Yep.
I won't go on about it because we discussed it last time. Yeah.
You not received this apology?
So
Probably not. So he was running that.
Got his name. At the end.
It's like the board's great.
But,
Yeah.
yes.
Orders.
Yeah.
Periods.
Page 41, it's good to see that, just at the very end of that 6.2, about the manhole manual work being scheduled, that's a good positive thing. Come from all those, all of the different ways that we're checking their pipes for leaks and whatnot. I think down 42. 43. All right, can somebody move that report as received, please?
All right.
Yeah, a second of Terry. All those in favour say aye. Yeah, carried. Right, that brings us through. Oh no, we're still. More two more pages. Leave that back under what I just done. Can we sign our photo program and project report? Now 47.
I didn't like listening to me coming out of it. I was just thinking. Sorry.
Anything down 48. Nine. One. Three. Four. Five. Six. Move to be receive the portfolio program project report. Terry, Kill, second to Evelyn, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Yep. Cool. Right, 8.3, our branch fund applications. Has everybody had a chance to read through them and we've got any comments?
Yeah, basically, with the funding we've got, my proposal would be the New Zealand Police request for what they do at the school around the roads and that, and for the kids who do that. Totally agree with and go with the full fund of $135. The golf club, sorry to say, but no. It's for flooring, and I understand what they were, but what they require it for and what they do. But the other two, the health centre and the early settlers, are both more important to the community. And from the funding we've got, I would then suggest that we give them $400 each out of the 1,000, and that's about as far as we could go.
Yeah.
It's not great; it doesn't give them everything they want, but
No.
I think that's all we can do with our limited funds at this time.
Evelyn, have you got?
Yes, no, I'm in the same place of mind, though I do have a conflict of interest with that one, because
I
the museum.
Well, my thoughts on it was to give the full amount to the police fund for the school kids,
Yeah.
and divide the other three equally. Since we've only got $1,000, I think that you could say that the health centre is more important than maybe the museum second, or second equal to a golf club or not, but they're all community assets, and I feel that we should support all of our community assets if they are asking for help. That's my view on it. But if,
I hear what you're saying, but the health centre provides a very essential service to our community, without a doubt, far beyond anything else. And the hard work and effort they're putting into the Settlers Museum to bring us a piece of our history and keep it with us is great. And at the end of the day, the actual funding they get is to actually sustain what they need, whereas the actual golf club itself gets subscription from people, has a bar and everything else, and they have got alternative places they can go to for funding. And I agree the other two do have, but I think our actual funding should go to those three. And the golf club has had a lot of money off us in previous years, and with our limited money we have nowadays, that I do think that they need to take a backseat and start looking elsewhere. And they really do need to look elsewhere because funding is available elsewhere. And the health centre and the early settlers have been really working hard to give us the service we need and some of the history that we have in our town and keeping it dear to us.
Yeah. So, Ellie, would I just say, look, there's Terry's proposal, my proposal, do we vote on the two ideas? Or do we not need to?
Yeah, so I can't vote on it.
Well, she's still present, she's still doing the work, but the voting.
But I can't vote on it because I'm So it's you two, you're gonna have to get some gloves in.
I'm at a loss for what to do because I think.
So just.
Well, then my suggestion would be is that because it's for this current financial year and everything else is still a little bit of time to go, we have this discussion at the next meeting. And I know we won't be. I know we won't be here, and it'll be a new committee. That's the only thing we could do at this time.
We actually probably need to finish it off now, Terry.
What's your advice?
I get that, but
Hold on, Terry, we'll just get Ellie's advice on.
Just understanding all this, if you were to leave an item lying on the table, at the end of the training, that item is disposed of, it's gone. So you do need to resolve this issue today.
So just to you, Chair, just with my observations, of those four nations, I think 1, 3 and 4 sit within what I would call community initiatives. A private golf club, in my view, is not the most appropriate use of ratepayers' funds. So my advice to you would be to think hard about the suggestion from before, just in terms of prioritising what's limited.
Yeah. Well, I think then that I can concede my view in lieu of two board members thinking the same way. So I would suggest I would move that we move Terry's proposition to pay the New Zealand Police whole amount and each left of what's left to the health centre and the museum.
You want to like $432 each, so you get rid of $1,000.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about rounding, but yes, yeah, so I'll move that and we have a second.
I'll second it.
Be Sherry, thank you. First in favour, say aye. Carried.
Well done.
I know your attention in the chat.
Yep, thank you.
There's only one other little thing just about the whole document about it. It actually says that there were 3 applications on 7.1 when it was actually 4, and I think that needs to be changed.
Yeah, that was my error. It was like another one came in after I'd written the report. And
That's fine.
every
Yeah.
bit, and then
Right, that's through to correspondence. Everybody read the copy of that letter that we had really took for us, and then also the response.
Yep.
I don't know, can we, personally, I'd just like to note my disappointment at that response, because in lieu of the report in here somewhere where I read that the police are issuing an average of 30 speeding tickets per day on that road, that it seems unfair that there's no signage on there, considering that most other 4-lane roads in New Zealand have a 110 speed limit. So for someone to assume that it may be 110, okay, assumptions are a bad thing to do, but it's obviously done because they're issuing 30 tickets a day. So I took notes properly this time in the weekend. So for me, when I enter that road from Woodville, I feel like as I go around the roundabout, I'm entering the new road. I think that would be a fair assumption. From entering the new road, there's no speed sign. The speed sign is back on the Woodville side of the roundabout. So I just think it's a bit unfair to have a response like that, really, when people could easily assume that a 4-lane road is 110 k's an hour as there is in other parts.
From the conversation that I had, see if it's 110 signposted on 110 visuals, because that's over and above what's default. So where it's not default.
I can understand that. That sounds quite fair enough too, but a lot of people may not understand that, So, and now I thought all with Trish Tracy's idea, I think that, the fact that they have some electronic billboard up there that could easily be used, that wouldn't cost much, I would think, to it. So instead of just saying that's that and accepting it, can we do something where we don't accept that? Right.
Right, like that, so each day, why it could be electronic billboard being used.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would be the problem.
And do I need to make a resolution? So has anybody else got any comments or thoughts on that? Jerry?
No, I'm, at the end of the day, if they're getting that amount of speeding tickets per day, there is something wrong with the system.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, that's sort of proof.
So then we need to make them aware of it. And it might be worth talking. I would suggest we have a chat to Woodville as well, see if they've got any feedback they can give us, and maybe if even go to the police and say what, just generically, what are the issues? Is it people going excessively fast? Because,
I think the issue is keeping it hot.
Sorry?
I think the issue is keeping it hot, smooth road.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the point, I think on our first letter, we just,
going through.
in our first letter, we just asked if we could have speed signage, and I said no, but can we add into the fact that the statistics are that there's an average of 30 speeding tickets per day being issued? That is why we are asking for speed signs. And the fact that
Staying, I think it's too early to say that is an average, because we don't know that.
that was written somewhere.
can I just,
The response.
Somewhere in here.
Yeah, so that was in 1 week. I don't think you could say it was an average.
Oh.
So that's the only thing. Just I think that it's unfair for drivers ticketed when there is no speed, and just the confusion between 110 because people in our area aren't used to seeing anything near 110. So if you didn't use the XPO expressway, you would have 110 because it's only that one stop. So, this road's something new, we're not used to that, and people just think that it teaches 110.
Yeah,
but
and also,
the reasoning is that if it is 110, I
understand that, but clearly lost big time. Yeah, so, and also if you could just note in there that they have an electronic billboard that's already there that normally would be very cheap to use. So I'll move that, so we'll send that letter. And the second, Terry, you've got something to add?
Can I add one thing? Can I suggest that if there's 2 people available, that they go in a car, start at the Woodville end of the road, say when they first see the first 50, when they leave Woodville, there's a 50k sign, or there used to be when I was last there. And then from there, when you first hit 100k sign, when they see the next one, the next one, the next one, and at what point it comes back to 50, then come back the other way. You've then got all that information, and that then tells you that obviously there's not enough signs there because there isn't a 100k sign, or there's only 50k, or what. You've actually given them the information that says this is what's currently there, and it's obviously not enough because they're still getting 30 speeding tickets a day.
Yeah, the speeding tickets is the
Yeah, but if you give them the information of where the actual speed limits are, which they should know, hopefully, But if you give that in there, it just adds more foundation to the letter you're sending. Say, we've actually gone out and had a look, and we don't think this is enough. Plus the 30 speeding tickets, bang.
Yeah, well, you're probably encroaching on, telling them how to do their job, perhaps with that, but
That's what you've got to do, literally.
That, yeah. But if we can have somebody second that we
Yeah, I'll second.
that we write that letter. Thank you, Evelyn. All those in favour say aye.
Yep.
Carried.
Right.
And notes from the radio station. Any comments on that? The only comment I would have on that is that it's really great to see quite a whole lot of stuff going on, even if it's kind of a list of problems to solve, but at least there is a group of people that have taken it on and working through it, so that's pretty neat to see. Other comments about the radio station minutes?
And our town ones, apologies are not there because the same person and we didn't actually get our minutes out in time. But they will be up to date by next month. And you'll do that next month, eh?
I will be there on the 10th.
Good. You can have your job back out.
All right, can we come and move that our list of correspondence is received, please?
Aye.
Jerry, thank you. Second, Evelyn, guys, say aye. Carried. Cool. Now, on to item 11. There's an opportunity for a comment from our retiring board members. So,
Did you say retarded or retiring?
I was going to give you that opportunity. Would you like to go first? Yeah, Jerry, you got any comments?
Yeah, I just
on the board.
had I been in Eketahuna and not enjoying this wonderful experience that we're currently having, then I would have stood again. But I thought it was not right to stand and not be there because I can't really present myself when I'm 11,000 miles away. But the last 6 years have been fantastic and thoroughly enjoyed it. As like with most people, you learn a lot. There's still a lot I believe needs to be done within the community board. I'm looking forward to getting back with our town, working there again, and actually getting back to Eketahuna and picking up the reins again of projects around the town, and also coming to community board meetings and throwing the odd piece in now and then when I get the opportunity. But yeah, I think we're in for busy times ahead. I think the next board that's coming on with the waters and everything else that is going on, there's going to be some huge challenges. I do believe that communications become an even bigger part of what we do, especially with our community, and not knowing what these future water amalgamation with the wire wrapper is going to cause impacts, all that stuff that's coming along. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, and I'm going to enjoy being there in the background with that. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and all the rest of you who are standing, I wish you well.
Thanks.
And all the best, and I shall see you in just over a month.
Well, thanks, Jerry, and thanks also for putting in effort to still attending the meeting digitally and still working on the issues and things that we have. So yes, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And Evelyn.
So, yep, I want to thank the community board for being part of the community board. As a female Māori, I've actually was born into politics, believe it or not. So this has given me another view on politics, and my next year is another set of politics. I'm going to be a minister, like a hallelujah one. So I'm really glad that I've done what I've done in the community. I'm always going to be in the community anyway. I'm known for my talking, but I really like to say a big thank you to all of the councillors and all of the council staff that I've been with and worked with, because it's been a whole pile of people, including the guy from Alliance who rang me up and is tired of my name showing up on his desk, but he'll get over it. So for me, it's actually been a really cool learning curve. And I want to thank you all for your patience. And I'm glad you didn't change that little thing on here to say Evelyn every time or things not on the agenda. So yeah, I want to thank everybody for your patience and for the learning that I've got. And I'll see you in politics and anywhere possible.
Thanks very much, Evelyn. And yeah, item 4, we'll miss you.
Yeah, I see.
See what's going to happen.
But on a serious note, yes, thanks very much for all your board. You know, obviously you do a whole lot else as well. And I think, you know, the best board you can have is the most diverse board. And I think we have definitely had that. And so just thanks very much for all your time and effort.
Maybe if I can just add, thanks, Terry. Like, neither of you are going away, and you always have Eketahuna's best interest at home. So I guess the community can be really both proud and grateful for everything that you do and you will continue to do. Terry, I wouldn't have thought it was possible to stay connected with the community while being overseas, but there's been a couple of times where I've actually, you've had your finger absolutely on the pulse. And I thank you for that. It's incredibly hard to do. But I know the great work that you've done in our town. We'll be grateful when you return to go back there. We've got a lot in the community to be grateful to you for, your relationships with the military, the amount of PD work that we have carried out, and the amount of projects that you have contributed to. So I know that you'll still be there for the best interest of the community as well as Evelyn. We've got a new keeper connected with the Kaha as well. And that's a big Kaha that's very big to Eketahuna, both in the projects that the museums planning, you know, to take it forward. But that's where your first Kaha is where Eketahuna's growth comes from. You know, the campgrounds fold, you know, we leverage a lot of the Kaha for us to have a connection really strong. So you've both made a positive contribution to the board. And I know that Eketahuna will continue to thrive just in the future. Look forward to some new board members, but I'm also grateful that we have the opportunity to go through with local government to team around and to make those political connections be with sign. Yeah.
All right, thanks to both of you. And item 12, we've got a note of thanks. Is that just about the refuse centre steps being fixed up?
Yeah, that was the second.
Yeah.
Russell?
Does it have something to do with the safety, but the only that
It's not fixed up, it's being sorted. So that's great to see. If I was going to have any remarks for item 13 there, I would have just been, you know, to reiterate thank you to our leading current board members and knowing that you're not going anywhere really, you're still going to be around. So items not on the agenda. I have something from Larissa wanted to add, so I'll just read it out so that I'm not changing it. Then maybe Tracy or Malcolm could reply. Good morning. Can the question be put forward regarding the water amalgamation? What would it look like financially for the council, taking into account the possibility of people getting their own water supply and disconnecting from the main supply? So, Tracy, did you want to?
So I just read that slowly again, and then I'll catch it up.
Yep.
So
Can the question be put forward regarding the water amalgamation? What would it look like financially for the council, taking into account the possibility of people getting their own water supply by disconnecting from the main supply?
we go first now.
I'll have to have a look at the network, but as a matter of principle, the new water entity, working here, to the extent that they're not connected to the network sharing that's allowed within various health regulations, and so on and so forth. There would still presumably be a network pipe running past their house, and it'd still probably be required to contribute to the fixed costs of that. So it won't be a complete disconnect. So it would be subject to the nature of the contractual arrangements that are in place, but there's likely to be a continuing obligation of a kind to fund and maintain the network. In terms of if they had their own water supply, something like that, then in principle they could probably avoid the variable cost of water, that is the actual consumption and use of it. So they'd have probably, if the metering project rolls out, immediately it would be essentially reported as zero consumption, so they would be out for that. But it won't. But there's no free ticket. In other words, there's a community cost in terms of the network that has to be maintained. So there's the pros and cons of that. Now that's subject obviously to whatever the board figure out health and that sort of thing. But in principle, we could do that. But there's no, probably if assuming the network even now, there's no zero cost.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a couple of it's just locally. So at the moment in the Tauranga district, if you don't have the default on land, you're still paying a half charge for that ability. We don't know what the new entity, what they would decide on that. The other one is that it is the 3 water, so there's also wastewater that would still be connected to. My concerns with that, and so I'm on the extraordinary line myself, and you're still going to have enough tanks to store your water and be able to pump that. So you've still got an additional electricity cost unless you're bringing a feed in there. But you would need to have sort of an amount of water to be able to store to run your household. So it would just be understanding.
Right, well, thank you both for your information on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second item was the picnic table that was just outside the war memorial here. So the history of it is that firstly the board wasn't aware that the council had asked the local contractor to remove it because of safety reasons. It was a bit rational, I think. So that was the first concern. What I would wanted to raise today is, could we please ask for it to be repaired, replaced, or if it's a cost problem, can we give it to the entity?
Well, I think it's done.
I know there has been an offer of one, but I would rather just rely on us asking council for something. If they need to go to a contractor and do whatever requests, or that's fine. But I would like from the community board to just request either repaired, replacement, or if the cost of the problem, can we ask the ministry to look at, So
yeah, thanks, Jane. And I think there's 2 parts there. So Joe Sweeney first raised this with me and said, where's the table one? So we had to retain so it was removed for health and safety reasons, and a replacement is underway. So council's already done that. I think that Phelan is actually a lack of informing board and councillors that this had happened. So I have made comment on that, but I actually think, given the wastewater ponds as well, with the not being invited there, I just think further reiteration from the board that actually if there are things that are taking place in the community, you have councils appointed to the board, you have your elected members, and there should be these discussions. So I see that happening on the football, but they're not happening overall. So, and the chief executive is here to go and here and take that back to him.
can we request this then a report on the progress of the new picnic table, and then we can let locals know that are interested. I often use this part of the road for my test driving, and I've also seen it very well used. Well used.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's just, because that created a whole kind of conversation. And Jane was really upset that it was on, because it's so well utilised. So it was just a simple thing telling people, hey, it's not safe at the moment, we're removing it, this is the expected date.
How long's it been on?
Oh, it's been 8 months now.
Yeah, if you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost as much fun as their rubbish bins.
Yeah, it's just, so we don't need to do anything official there, do we? I just wanted to know if we could be told when the table is going to be arrived.
So the wider issue of where conform to the
Yeah, and also to keep being informed on when the new ones are coming. So, because we've had, on a kind of side note, though, we've had, an offer of another one.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's not reliable as such. Then us asking council about it, so that's why I wanted to do it this way.
Yeah.
So that we're doing it in the proper process, basically. So that is all we have for today. So thank you very much for attending, and be good to see you in person, Terry, next month. So
Looking forward to it.
Happy
It's our
travels.
last meeting next month.
Yeah.
this is our last meeting.
Oh, so I don't even have to be here next month.
You're still allowed to come along, isn't it? You just need 2 weeks prior to the meeting to give us your.
Sherry, I have to get back in, we need to tell them about it.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Even under 2 months.
Yeah, it's an extra week. Well done.
Yay!
We got good connectivity.
I take a moment, we just. Again,
Be safe, everybody.
See
See you soon.
I bet you by the time you get back, the BNZ will have been on their pool.